Julie Ryder. Behind me is Eagle Mount Amphitheater. A huge eagle head at the top, with the wings spread, creating an amphitheater. Next you have a second layer of a condor that's flying right at you. The eagle head is facing northeast. The second condor is facing straight east, and it forms a amphitheater which we call a parabolic mirror. In other words, it reflects sound. A shaman from Mexico brought a conch shell here and blew the conch shell to the left side of the eagle, and it echoed 7 times, where anywhere else in the valley you didn't hear any echo. What we're seeing here is pre-megalithic. This whole area is pre-megalithic. You don't see dolmens here. You don't see square rectangular structures here. You just see these solid beings that are human, avian, aquatic, reptilian, draconian hybrids. Some look very human, some look like mixtures. We know the ancient gods in Egypt, in South America, were often animal figures. There were more bird gods in Egypt. Over 50% of the pantheon in Egypt are bird gods with bird heads, human bodies and heads of birds. We have to invent a new vocabulary. Standard archaeology does not even begin to describe what we're finding here. Whether this is a flash fossilized being, whether it was positioned here, whether it was built here, all this mystery. Sometimes it appears to be like have the essence and power of a living being. Whether it biologically checks out to be a live tissue, whether the DNA is of an eagle, we've yet to figure that out. I believe that yes, there was a mud flood, but that these are much, much older than the mud flood, and therefore they were flash fossilized because some of these are mountain sized. They're absolutely gigantic. It's part of an entire, maybe 3 to 4 miles on both sides of the stream. There are features, faces, heads, dragons. We have the evidence here of every civilization from the beginning of time, beginning of civilizations, down until 12,800 years ago when an asteroid hit North America. We have examples of each of those epochs of time. And at once there was a highly, highly developed civilization that was worldwide. Because when I first started finding these, I put it on the internet, and people would come back to me and say, no, Julie, this is in Australia, this is in Russia. I was invited into Russia to make a documentary. And we have identical matches of what was here in the Montana megaliths and dolmens in Australia, of flash fossilized beings in South Africa. They're matches. The common denominator is most of these were built over gold mines and at the headwaters of major river systems. A quantum physicist once said, we have reached the end of the English language. Our language cannot describe quantum physics or the multidimensions that we are now experiencing. In Navajo, there's first, second, third, fourth, and fifth person, where in English we only have first, second, and third. Fourth and fifth person in Navajo describes interdimensional beings on an earthly level, and fifth describes interdimensional beings that are of a higher frequency level, which we would refer to as gods, even though in the Navajo language there's no such word as a god. I'm beginning to contemplate, beginning to entertain the idea that many of these were intentionally placed like an art display. You can see 180 degrees of faces that are all silhouetted. Some places it looks completely random, other places it looks intentionally designed, so that from one viewpoint, the viewer sees each aspect in a 180 degree view. I can see the whole 180 degree view of this magnificent piece of art. I believe that this is how they recorded the information for later generations. It's almost like you're watching a still shot in an incredible drama movie that's happening all around you with all the different characters displaying their best features. The more we discover about these ancient megalithic beings, the more it becomes necessary for us to invent a language that accurately describes what we're seeing, what we're experiencing, the possibilities of what it can be. It doesn't fit into the box of archaeology or geology or any of the standard sciences as we know them, because this was a extremely highly developed technological civilization.